Trinity College, Cambridge has for centuries been a British centre of occultism, esoteric science and espionage. Students and professors of this bastion of British society have been deeply involved in magic, spiritualism and spying. The notorious part-time spy and black magician Aleister Crowley attended Trinity College and went on to lead the infamous secret society called the Golden Dawn. Scientific investigation of the spirit world and psychic abilities had been conducted throughout the medieval era. Its focal point became Trinity College at Cambridge University. Since the 1400s, Trinity College has been a hotbed of occultism and espionage, the two dark worlds often overlapping throughout the history of Trinity College. Dr. John Dee was an Elizabethan magician who used a polished piece of obsidian rock called a dark mirror to communicate with angelic spirits. These spirits dictated to John Dee a system known as Enochian magic. The Enochian system describes the spirit world and gives instruction on how to communicate with spirits of angels and demons.
Tim Jafar Kaul Tarpin M Awif Mu F Tarif Sem F Minute F Nevet Hayat Nevet Henenet Nevet Jedafuit F Awit F Hasit Samawu M Sanut.
A Victorian secret society called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn were to later take the Enochian system of spirit communication and combine it with the use of the so-called dark mirror, used by magicians in ancient Egypt. During the Elizabethan era, Dr. John Dee was not only the pioneer of Enochian magic, but also a personal spy to Queen Elizabeth I. Dee studied at Trinity College, Cambridge. Dee was to be followed within the halls of Trinity College by other magicians, alchemists, occultists, and spiritualists. Sir Isaac Newton also attended Trinity College, Cambridge, where he wrote many articles about a spiritual domain referred to by Christians as heaven, which Newton and other scientists called the ether. The leading scientists of the day believed that a domain of spiritual psychic energy which permeates all matter exists in the universe. Dense, concentrated area orbits planet Earth just above the atmosphere. This became known as the psychic ether. The existence of the ether, which is where spirits of dead people live, was well known to Dr. John Dee, Sir Isaac Newton, and the scientists who followed in their footsteps. In 1909, Sir Oliver Lodge wrote The Ether of Space, a companion to his equally groundbreaking book about the spirit world called the survival of man. These early scientists taught that no element could exist without having some form of relationship to the ether. The ether was the domain of spirit and the realm from which magicians and psychics such as the French Dr. Nostradamus received their information. Following in the footsteps of John Dee, British occultist, the self-styled Beast 666, Mr. Aleister Crowley, who would go on to be a part-time spy for MI5, attended Trinity College in the late 1800s. Whilst Crowley was a student at Trinity College, 3 Trinity Dons decided to found a society to investigate the spirit world. In 1882, Edmund Gurney, Frederick William Henry Myers, and Henry Sidgwick founded the Society for Psychical Research, otherwise known as the SPR. For the next 100 years, 2 groups, the Golden Dawn and the SPR, would invest thousands of hours of research and fortunes into the spirit world. On the one hand, members of the Golden Dawn would use Dr. John Dee's system of ancient Enochian magic to invoke and communicate with spirits of angels and demons. And on the other hand, the SPR would finance thousands of seances, inviting spirits to manifest and speak with the living. Just 6 years after the founding of the SPR, Britain's most famous and powerful magical secret society was formed in London. The Isis Urania, Temple of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, was established on March the 1st, 1888. Its founders, Dr. William Robert Woodman, William Wynne Westcott, and Samuel Liddell MacGregor Mathers, were all Rosicrucian Freemasons. The Golden Dawn was a depository of occult knowledge. Aleister Crowley joined after attending Trinity College. Other members included W.B. Yeats and the author of Dracula, Mr. Bram Stoker. The Golden Dawn invoked spirits using magical techniques taken from Dr. John Dee's Enochian system of magic, and became the main magical secret society for British aristocrats and royalty. The Golden Dawn was heavily influenced by the writings of Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, who would later be outed as a fraudulent psychic by members of the Society for Psychical Research. Rituals using the so-called Dark Mirror were performed at Golden Dawn ceremonies on a regular basis. The Dark Mirror is a piece of polished black obsidian rock which is placed inside the magic circle. It is used rather like a crystal ball. The magician watches the reflection of his own face whilst invoking or calling a spirit. Etched into the surface of the Dark Mirror is an ancient Enochian or Kabbalistic design which helps mesmerize the eyes of the magician and enter a hypnotic trance. The magician's reflection would morph into the face of a spirit which would then telepathically communicate with the magician.
So Balme Yalta Regi is of the road. He adapte Kasirema Abrimaji Pakalado Palakalada Sota Lorifel Code Adu Basal Oje Balasohe Italy Sada Oreri Od Nikala Pape Tahisa Dia Ozo Donu Donu Lape Noenu Tarose Koresa Tajeo Pro Maninu
Aleister Crowley used opium as part of his daily diet in order to free himself from everyday life and to communicate with spirits. Crowley was copying the traditions of magicians and shamans who have inhabited all continents of planet Earth since the dawn of man. In France, a huge modern spiritualist movement began in the 19th century with the birth of Léon Denisard Reveil, who was born in Lyon in 1804. Reveil was at first skeptical of the reports of French explorers who had witnessed shamans in Siberia and Canada drumming up the spirits of their ancestors. In 1855, a friend invited Reveil to a séance where spirits made themselves manifest in front of the sitters. The table also levitated and turned. Reveil underwent an evangelical conversion to spiritualism. Reveil was instructed by the spirits to change his name. He became known as Allan Kardec. His experiences and conversations were written down in a book called The Book of Spirits. Allan Kardec claimed that there were two independent worlds, one visible and the other invisible. Kardec said that the spiritual life force is formed of quintessential matter which is united to the physical body by a so-called astral body. Kardec taught reincarnation as a matter of fact. He told all his followers that there is no death. In fact, according to Allan Kardec, there are no dead people. Everyone who has died discovers the reality of the spirit world. Allan Kardec also taught the law of karma as a matter of fact. That is, if you lead your life doing bad things, being lazy or self-centered, or leading an indulgent, non-spiritual life, then your spirit will suffer the consequences after the death of your physical body. Allan Kardec also taught that just before the time of the death of the physical body, each person is replayed a movie of all the things that they have seen and done in their previous life.